Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Nifty Dimensions. I am Rizzo, your host as usual, and today we have somebody very awesome that has a game dropping tomorrow on itch.io. The name of the game is the BENDS, so everybody please welcome Mr. Cody Reader, also known as Phantom Sloth with Phantom Sloth Games, right?
Yeah. Awesome. Just a simple, self kind of published way of going with my branding. But yeah, I mean, the name's been attached to, Phantom Sloth Games has been attached to the Diving Bell, which was part of DreadX Collection 2. And then, most recently will be the BENDS.
Right.
So I'm really, really excited about this.
I'm excited about it too. I was looking it over. I can't wait to check it out. And we'll be able to check it out as soon as tomorrow, right? The 31st?
Yeah, the August 31st, I'll be releasing it. Right now I'm in playtesting. I have a few people checking out the builds and everything, making sure everything's good. And then from there, I'll basically implement all the fixes for the bugs and everything. And then we should be perfectly on time.
Nice. That's great. That's really great. Yeah, well, let's get into it. I only have a couple questions for you, but my main curiosity is what does it take to build a game like that? And hopefully I'll be showing everybody while we go over this, I'll be showing some footage of the game and all, so you can see it's really beautiful underwater. What does it take to get into something like that?
So for me, I've been doing game development for probably 4 years now, I think, just mostly solo stuff. I wouldn't even consider the first 2 years really anything because I didn't do that much. But when you're starting out, you don't have an exact understanding of how to build a game, right? So you start off really simple. More than often, people will mess up and kind of, I'll create my dream game and they'll launch headfirst into a wall.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you start really simple and you just kind of mess with for example, Unreal Engine, as soon as you open it, you have example builds of how you can kind of start with building a game. And if you start with that and kind of see where you go from there, it gives you a lot of opportunity to see what you can do and what you can teach yourself. And really, YouTube and online documentation is king. You learn so much just by doing. And one of the things personally that I would suggest that I started in those 2 years was doing a lot of game jams. Even the BENDS is for the Haunted PlayStation, game jam, Summer of Shivers.
I saw that.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Really, lots of really cool ones. I think that violin game is in there. There's a whole bunch of really cool ones, but yeah, if you're starting out in development and everything, even as a solo dev, anybody can do this. It's just a matter of, grabbing that free tool online, Unreal Engine, Unity, if you're more code, if you like the wall of code, right, and you can read that and you want to take the time to learn that, and awesome, that might be your program, Unity. Yeah. I use Blueprints. I could probably get you a clip of this too, but okay. Basically there's a thing called Blueprints, which is visual scripting, and it's like thought bubbles all interconnected, and it allows you to kind of explain what you're trying to do for that sequence. So it's, again, a matter of learning, but if you do game jams and things like that, it can really come together over time.
Wow. Yeah, and I did see a lot of cool games on there too. I went through and started looking at what was on there, and there's definitely a lot of crazy stuff on there. Is it all dropping tomorrow? I'm just curious.
Well, there's the cool thing about game jams is there's no real pressure or anything. So you could for example, this one was originally supposed to be a month long. At one point, halfway through, they were like, "Hey, we're going to extend this to 2 months." So they made it really clear too, and I love that Haunted PS1 did this. They made it clear that the reason for the extension was for polishing, not for you to add a million new features to your game.
Right.
So I just took all this time, took that advice and everything, and basically just polished what I've been doing. And I think the game itself, it's depends on how fast you want to run through it, but it could be anywhere between 10 minutes to 20 minutes long. Just kind of, playing at your own pace and everything.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, that's really cool. I'd probably be the 20-minute person or more, because although I love video games, I've always been obsessed with them since all the way back to Atari 2600 and through I suck at video games. I openly admit it, but that doesn't mean I don't try and I'm not always playing games. So that's cool.
And you know, I like keeping, you know, just the general population in mind. You know, there's that whole debate right now about, you know, the easy mode in games and whether or not it's required. You know, Dark Souls, you know, has its strengths in terms of, you know, punishment and reward and everything. It's like, that's very sensible, but at the same time, there are other people that, you know, might have physical disabilities or mental disabilities that keep them from being able to play these games at full capacity.
Good
And
point.
I feel like there should be something kept in mind for those individuals. So like, you know, with my game, it's very you know, simple in terms of trying to avoid death. Like, you can very easily avoid death, but if you do die, it's not meant to feel like a punishment. It's supposed to be like an experience, kind of restarting.
Right.
So, you know, again,
that's awesome.
Keeping people in mind.
Good. No, that's really cool. And I agree. I think, especially for somebody like me, or like you said, anybody with a disability or anything, that's definitely so they can still have fun with it and enjoy it. Or even like a little kid, you know, like I remember when my daughter was really young, like for sure, some games were just impossible for her to get into, and some were, you know, they would make them, you can have an easy mode and she can get into it a lot sooner. And I think that's great.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad.
Oh, no, you're good. I was just gonna say, because my daughter is 6 years old right now,
cool.
and she's the only person that's played the game so far.
Oh,
and
shit.
She checked it out last night, and basically for the first time, I was like, I've been keeping it from her. You know, you can't play it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had her play through it for the first time last night. She played it 3 times, like just on her own. She was like, I want to play it again. She played it 3 times.
Yeah.
And then I had basically my music person, basically the only other person that I'm working with in this project, aside from like voices, would be somebody for music named at Lark's Breath, if you want to look her up on Twitter.
Okay, definitely.
She's done a phenomenal job with the music. It's very atmospheric, you know, really brings you into the environment of kind of like being underwater and like experiencing this. But she's the only other person I worked with on this project. Like, I've done all the programming and everything else, which has been a pretty big undertaking, which is,
I bet.
I don't know if I would have done so well if they hadn't extended the jam, but
yeah,
I'm super happy with the way it's turned out.
Totally. So let me rewind a second. So say there's somebody young that's wanting to get into it. They're interested. They love games, but they have no clue where to start. What would you say a good place for them to start off is, and at least get a firm grip on the basics?
You mean for like learning development?
Yeah.
I would say, you know, like I said, trying to figure out whether or not you wanted to be a programmer or doing like the visual scripting, like I had mentioned. Right. But once you figure out your engine, I think going from there, it really kind of depends on what you're trying to sell. And I guess not necessarily like, because like even, you know, my game, I keep going back to it. It's free, you know, like you're not trying to sell that game. It's free, but nonetheless, you still want people to enjoy it. You still want them to play it. So what is your selling point? What is the hook of your game? In my case, it's underwater. Apparently, that's kind of my staple, I guess. But you know, it's about finding what you're comfortable with, and then, you know, pursuing in that one thing. And as I had mentioned before, simplicity is key. So starting out, biggest thing I could ever give in advice is start with one simple concept. Not like a guy goes, you know, to New York and you know, starts a company. Like, that's a huge concept, right? So like, simplify it. A businessman is in a company and wants to change it in this way. You know, it's very specific. You know, whatever. That's a really lame idea. Don't make a game about a businessman doing that.
Right.
But you know, again, it's just very simple. You know, because what is that? That's like a person walking in an office kind of thing. You know, that's basic implementation of you know, what's available to you right out of the box for Unity or again, Unreal Engine.
Yeah. Okay. I messed with Unreal Engine a little bit. I got Blender and Unreal Engine, and I'm talking as a total new jack. I want to say I'm so admirable for people like you that can do these kinds of things, because I know how hard it is for me, you know, well, not anymore, but like creating a song, recording it, getting the production right, and then walking away from it. Making a game, it would be so hard for me. I'd always want to go back and like, oh wait, I could do this. I could do this. So is that hard for you to just let something go?
Yeah. So I mean, obviously they always, people always come back to like, oh, you can patch things, you can do DLC or whatnot.
Right.
And I get that. It's just there's a like, even right now, knowing that I release tomorrow, there's a million different things that I would love to be able to put into the game, and I know I don't have any time for it, and I know that I still have a list of things to work on as it is. But it comes down to like, yeah, do I want to take the time to update it later? Is it worth it? Because I mean, again, it's just a game jam thing. Like, does it have merit or value in that? And then of course there's people on my Twitter that follow me that are really awesome, and they're saying, hey, put it up on Steam and charge $1 to cover the entry fee for Steam. And I don't feel comfortable doing that, knowing that you can get the game for free on itch.io, on the 31st. So I've considered the idea of doing like an extended edition with some additional content. And I think that would be worth charging $1 for. It's like, hey, you could play the entry, and then like, hey, come back and check out what I wanted to do.
Absolutely.
And because there was this. Oh man, it was heartbreaking. But basically, my whole plan with the game originally here was to have an entire build of the one level where you would be able to walk from point A to point B. And basically, what I wanted to do was take a duplication of that level, that file, and move it over and then change a few things, and then basically have sequences in the game where if you encountered that entry point, that collision detection, it would transfer you over to that other level, right?
Okay.
So I was really excited. I was going to do that, and then basically I built everything, all of the timing, the programming, everything, built it all out, and then was like, okay, now if I copy it, everything will be fine. It'll be good. Crashed Unreal Engine. And I was like, oh no, like what's like what happened?
Right.
So basically I tried it again and it crashed, and I was like, okay, I'm going to Google this. And sure enough, there's a specific problem with Unreal Engine 4.6 where if you try to duplicate the level, it crashes the system. Supposedly it's fixed in 4.7. I have built the whole game in 4.6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build out the game, basically, release it on the 31st and everything. And then I'll try to transfer the whole system over to 4.7, and then continue that idea for the extended edition. If the game does well on itch.io, if it flops, whatever, I'll just move on.
Right.
I got other projects.
Yeah, well, it looks great. I doubt it'll flop, but it looks awesome. Seriously. Well, I gotta ask, because I see the cute and cuddly animal right next to you. Who do we have here?
So this is Oliver. He's actually he was a stray. We moved into this house. My wife and I we moved in, and he was just outside all the time. And basically there's a really bad weather strip on my front door. So all of the cold air just kind of like pours out. And we would just find him all the time, just chilling by the front door, just absorbing the cold air.
Right.
So we started feeding him, and then we're like, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and, try and take him in. He has the worst allergies.
Oh no.
It's terrible. He has to sneeze maybe like 50 times a day. It's there's like, he sneezes like whole snots too, giant snots. It's gnarly.
Oh wow. Well, it's so cool. He's just chilling with you. That's awesome.
Yeah, he sits here all day. Anytime I'm in the office, he'll sit here. And then basically, if I'm not in the office, he'll want to go back outside, and he just waits for me.
That's cool. Well, shout out to Oliver. He looks awesome. That's very cool. All right, so I got to ask you. I'm going to rewind. I want to go back a little. Where did you get started with your gaming obsession? What consoles or games inspired you at first?
Yeah. Well, the first gaming console I ever had was for my 4th birthday. Basically, on my 4th birthday, 1994,
Cool, cool.
they somebody gave me a trash bag full of Nintendo like
Oh,
NES,
yes.
hardware. So like I got like a Rob the Robot and like
Oh,
yeah, Gyromancer, and I think it's called Gyromancer, that weird gyro game that came with it or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, and then like Excite Bike and stuff like that.
Oh,
So,
yes.
I started out with those good old retro games, grew into
Hmm.
that, and then like Sonic on Sega, and moved forward. Basically, my history was kind of weird because I started out, really in love with video games and film. So like a huge obsession on both of those ends. Um, and basically I would like at age, I think like 9 or something like that, I got like a handheld camera, and my friend next door, um, Tim, hi Tim.
What's up, Tim?
So we basically started making films together with this like crappy handheld camera,
Nice.
doing all kinds of like low budget effects. We would record this whole thing, and then I would go through with 2 VCRs and record onto VHSs and edit them through that
Nice.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I got a computer later on, and it was like, oh, film editing, yeah, like it's dope.
Yeah.
And then just kind of like kept pursuing that, and then we ended up making a YouTube channel, which you'll be able to look up. It's called Half Light Studios.
Cool. I'll check it
Um,
out.
yeah, there was a very popular video called Skyrim versus Dark Souls. It has like 2 million views or something like
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yeah, it's funny because there's a lot of people, like anytime I usually mention it in like a group setting, there's at least like 2 or 3 people that are like, oh, you made that.
Right. I
you're the
bet.
you're the fat Knight Solaire, aren't you?
I gotta check it out.
Yeah. So yeah, basically we did the whole film thing for a while, and there was just a unfortunate falling out that happened. We weren't able to maintain financially. It's so expensive to do film work.
Hmm.
We both like I had my ex-wife at the time. She like wanted to get a job, and she was like insisting I pay all the house bills. Like I said,
Hmm.
ex-wife. She was
Mm-hmm.
something else. My wife now is a godsend.
Nice.
So basically, I had to ditch film, unfortunately, and it left me with this creative hole. And
Hmm.
the entire time in the background of doing film, since I was like 14, I had started out with 3ds Max, which is a program. Obviously, you probably know what 3ds Max is, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Definitely.
yeah, and I pirated it, when I was like 14. It is
Right.
what it
Right.
is. And I started learning, and at one point I like contacted a college and was like, hey, what do I got to do to like get into a college? And they're like, well, you got to provide that you have a high school diploma or GED. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, cool. I was homeschooled. I
Oh,
have
nice.
neither of those things. And they were like, well, you're shit out of luck then, go get a
Oh,
GED.
shit.
And I was
Right.
like, I'm not going to do that. So
Nah.
basically I never went to college for it or anything. And I just did a lot of like I said, YouTube tutorials, online learning and stuff. It's all there.
Oh, yeah.
And I dived really deep into it, and then life happened, a lot of different changes and things. And then when I met my current wife, I was like really depressed and everything from my divorce and everything. And my
Mhm.
my wife now was like, you do 3D, pursue it, like, do something with it. And I was like,
Right.
okay, yeah, I'll do that. And I basically was like, well, what do I do with my 3D? I'm obsessed with games. Like
Yeah.
I could look into it, man. Maybe it's not as hard as people say.
Right.
And I think that was the best decision that I probably made. Like that was really awesome. It was a big choice for me to just be like, okay, that is my pursuit. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I basically just built my whole passion around that. So like I also suffer from insomnia.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, so instead of fighting it, I was like, well, what do I do with this like extra 6 hours a day or whatever, where my brain doesn't want to shut down? And basically I was just like, well, I'll just do game development, you know, and I started pursuing that. Game jams were the way to like connect with other people and learn about things like programming and stuff that I didn't feel comfortable with,
Mm.
because there's a lot of people out there willing to help out in game jams. And when you're doing that, don't be shy to like interact with the other people, like, you know, branch out and be like, hey, what are you doing? And you can learn a lot, you know, just by talking to people. And I think through those interactions, it really just it all landed. And then, you know, one person reached out to me and was like, hey, I want to pay you to make a game. What do you want to do? You want to do a
Yeah.
solo, or do you want to put together a team? And I was like, I will put together a team. I don't care about the money. Like, I will
Yeah.
put together a team. So that's what I did. We made the diving bell, and now here we are.
That's great. Yeah, it's hard to, I mean, yeah, money is awesome, especially when you work hard, but I think there's like these putting out your own game is such a massive, like a childhood dream kind of thing for everybody who grew up with video games. They seem so just intangibles for the, you know, to be able to do something like that, and then to be able to build, you know, build yourself to where you can understand it and make it. It's very cool, man. It's really, really cool. I'm really impressed with what you're doing. And I got to say a shout out to John of the Shred, who hooked up this interview. He was the one who sent me your info. And so thanks,
Yeah.
John, for this, man. This
Yeah.
is a good one.
Thank you, John.
Hell yeah. John's the man. He helped me. And I'm saying all this for a reason too, because he helped me. One of my childhood dreams is to be part of a video game some way, somehow. And now I can officially say that Nifty Dimensions has a little part on the Happy Humbles Burger Farm game. And I also helped with some audio. We got Mary Sean Young, an actress who was in Blade Runner and a few other big movies like Ace Ventura. I'm friends with her. And he, you know, he said, ask her. I asked her and she came by and did it. So yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's such a big dream, and I'm just so thankful that to get to be part of this. Now I'm meeting you, and I get to meet some great people, and like it's a great interview. So yeah, I'm very, very stoked on all this. This is very awesome.
Yeah, she's a great actress too. You
Hell
have
yeah.
to give her my regards.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. She'll probably see this. She's going to be on the show soon. She was going to do the show while she was here, but we wanted to get done the main work, which was for the game, and we focused on that. And by the time we were done, you know, she was out of here, but she's going to be on the show, so I'm sure she'll see this. I know she checks it out every now and then. So,
Awesome,
yeah.
awesome. Oh, and funny fact too, I actually helped out with Happy's Humble Burger Farm a little bit.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, they were in a tight pinch, and they were like, "Hey, we need somebody that can put together a 3D city like super quick." Nice. And I was like, "Don't worry, I got you." So I made a whole city. Like there's all these little like jokes in there too. Like Sloth's Bodega is in there.
Nice. All right. So now I'll get it. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And there's an Easter egg that I threw into one of the rooms, which I hope somebody will find on a stream. I desperately want to see that moment on a stream.
Oh, shit.
I don't necessarily want to spoil it, but Ethan Winters was there. So, you know.
That's a little clue. That's the clue.
There's your clue.
All right, cool. Well, let me ask you, because you said you're really into movies, and I know I said this would be a quick interview, but I'm having fun here, so I got.
I'm good. Yeah. What's up?
All right, cool. Yeah. So, favorite movies, favorite director. What inspires you in that realm?
Favorite director is a really hard one for me. That's real hard. Top 3 favorite movies would be Evil Dead. Evil Dead 2 to be very specific.
Okay.
Ghostbusters, and then Drive.
Oh yeah, that's a great movie. Great soundtrack too, by the way.
So good. I've listened to it countless times.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite OSTs for sure. I absolutely love it. Oh, good picks. I have wow, all right. I knew now I get why we get along. You said Evil Dead 2. That's so up there in my list too. That's great.
Yeah, a funny detail. When I was like 14, you know, like I mentioned when I was I was like, I'm gonna make a YouTube channel. I'm gonna be somebody. It was 2007, like, or whatever, you know, like, let's go. Right. So I actually have all of the Evil Dead, the musical, like still up there from when I was like 14 or 15. Like it's the whole thing. And there's like a bunch of really bad 3D from when I was a kid in there.
Nice. Oh, yeah, that's cool shit.
It's weird.
You could still find that stuff too?
It's still active, yeah. And there's like a ton of views. I don't monetize that one or anything. I didn't make it. You know, I was like that. Even if it has as many views as it has, like whatever, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. No, I hear you on that. Yeah, I feel you. It always confuses me when people are monetizing on things that they didn't create. It's a whole nother subject.
Yeah, and it's like it should be a choice too, you know. Like I don't want to say his name. I'm going to mispronounce it. The guy that did the music for Jet Set Radio Future.
Okay.
Basically, there's a clip in one of my devlogs that I did where I was just sitting there talking to my friend, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Birthday Cake is such a good song. It's like probably my favorite song from the OST." And he was like, yeah, and then like I turned it up and I had it play for maybe 15, maybe 20 seconds in the video, and then I was just like, yeah, and then like I clipped away to like another montage of editing and stuff, and it flagged and copyrighted the whole thing. And yeah, it's like it should be a choice for them to be like, yeah, we don't care about this 10 seconds of him being like, yeah, it's good.
I agree. They should be a choice. I hate when I've had stuff get cut. Only one of my videos had to deal with that, but it was something I don't even know. It showed a piece of a video with no audio of it whatsoever for like you said, 10, 20 seconds. And they got me. They told me like, nope. So I had to edit that whole section out. Luckily, it was a really early just an NFT artist spotlight review or something. Maybe it was a vinyl review I was doing. I don't know. I haven't done many of them, but I that really frustrated the shit out of me. So I feel you.
It sucks, man. You work on these things super hard, and then it's just like, oh, somebody has a written line somewhere where it's like, this is theirs, and it's like,
yeah,
it's not fair.
Right. Well, I got one more for you, for sure. I gotta know. I like to ask everybody, what was your first favorite collectible or toy that really inspired you and got you moving on that kind of stuff?
Ooh, man, I wish you had given me a heads up on this one. I would have probably dug it out. I have a stack of comic book boxes in my closet. But there's an Aliens versus Green Lantern issue. It's like issue 1 that I got from it was probably like 2003, 2001 or something like that. I was really bad at like reading when I was younger, and my mom always tried these different things to like get me to read. And at one point she was like, hey, do you want to like try comic books? And I was like, yeah, more reading. Okay, yeah, let's go. And then we walked in and I was like, wow, this place is awesome. And
hell yeah.
Picked out the creepiest looking thing I could find, and that meant aliens, this big slimy alien, a xenomorph right on the cover, and a Green Lantern like ready to duke it out.
Hell yeah.
And it just got me obsessed with comics because it ends in this like ridiculous cliffhanger where like a bunch of the Green Lantern community, or whatever, I forget what their like legion is called, but there's a bunch of them just getting wrecked by aliens, chest burster in the end and everything, and it's just it's Green Lantern.
So that got you reading more then. It was that's really cool. That's a great idea. More parents should think of that. That's awesome.
I try so many different things with my daughter too, and she reads so well.
Nice.
Because like I said, she's 6 and everything, and she's just starting out in school, and I always worry about like her learning conditions and everything being separated from her mother and everything. She has her the majority of the time, and then I have her on the weekends.
Right.
But when she's here, we play games together like Paper Mario and stuff like that, where we have to read it all out loud.
Yeah.
And it's gotten to the point where like I was sitting there watching Train to Busan. I'm so bad at pronunciation, I'm sorry. But basically I was watching that, and she walked into the room and started reading the subtitles and was like, why can't they get to the other train? And I was like, zombies.
Nice.
It's really like heartwarming moment.
Yeah, 6 years old. I remember that. Shout out to both of our daughters then, because yours is 6, mine's 18, soon to be 19, going into college, first year of college. Yeah, it's crazy. It flies by so fast. So
congratulations.
Very cool. Thanks.
To you and her. College,
Thank you.
Easy feat. Like I said, I didn't go. So
I didn't go either. I'm definitely the dad that didn't go. I went to school for audio production and recording back in. I'll spare you the year because I'll sound really old if I tell you that. But I learned on 8-inch tape. I learned on big mixing boards, and Pro Tools was brand new then. And we were just using it in Studio B for editing and whatnot. But yeah, it's Yeah, it's definitely, that's where I come from. I did not go to college. I went to the, I don't know what you would call it, maybe a cult college of the initiate, like reading lots of crazy occult books and things. I don't even want to go through the names. I'll spare you all that. But yeah, that's pretty much where I learned a lot of stuff that I'm into. Yeah. So anything else you want to get into, or anything that you want to say to the viewers at home? I mean, floor's yours.
Well, check out the BENDS on August 31st for sure. It's going to be free. So, I mean, I don't ask people to like tip or anything. So it's like, whatever, dude. Yeah. any money I did receive for it, because there's a couple of followers that were like, yeah, I'm going to donate to you and everything. If anybody does do that, it's mostly going to be going to my music person, because Jesus, she's worked endlessly, and it's crazy because like I said, I have my insomnia and everything. So when it comes to me like working, I have this weird expectation from people where it's like, I want you to try to at least meet me halfway, because it's like I'm going to be working super hard, and I want you to at least put in that effort, free or not.
Yeah.
And most people, doing game jams and stuff, most people won't put in that full effort, or they don't have time, or whatever it is. And she's just been like, I don't have time right now, but I will get that to you like tomorrow. And then like tomorrow, bam, first thing in the morning, there it is. She's like endlessly working with me, and it's been fantastic. So if anybody ever needs like weird, dark ambient type music or anything, like she's a go-to.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. And I'll make sure I'll get all the info and make sure to have all that up in the details too, so everybody knows not just where to reach you or how to find you, but also how to find her, because that's cool. I'm all about that. I make horror and sci-fi ambient music all the time. I love that kind of stuff. Me and John of the Shred are actually working on a track or two right now for the future. We're trying to have some out for like around Halloween or so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So. You'll have to send me that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. We got a lot of stuff in the works for sure. But wow, I mean, I got to tell you, I'm really excited to have you on today. It's been really great, and it's been fun talking to you.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. If you ever want to have me back, I'd be happy to be here.
I was just about to say,
you can see him again.
Yeah, I would love to see Oliver again. And yeah, I would love to have you on again, whatever you're doing next. Hopefully, we stay in contact, but if ever you're getting into something new and you want to, get it out, I will definitely have you back on the show. It's been a blast, and I will have this done. I'm going to have this done tonight so I can have it out before the release tomorrow. I want to make sure to get it done. So that'll be, yeah.
Awesome. I mean, if anything after the BENDS, the plan, just to mention, me and my former team that was working on the the Diving Bell, we basically, Connor Walsh, which is the writer, and then I'm drawing a blank. DeLuca is our programmer, and then of course we have Zach back. He's doing the concept art and everything again. So we're all like, working full force on Deep Wounds, Shallow Grave, which cool. is like a really interesting kind of dark game, cell shaded and everything. So it's unique to say the least, at least in terms of the writing. Connor is always really awesome with his writing. So I look forward to that. I think some people think it's dead because I took a really big break with the BENDS, but nonetheless, we are still working on that. We're starting up again here, basically this weekend. So cool.
Great. That's great. I love dark stuff for sure, especially games. That's awesome. I will be keeping an eye out for that. And yeah, maybe we'll have you on once there's some, once you have some news on that in the future. Yeah, for sure. That'd be awesome.
Right on.
All right. Well, great. All right. Well, then I guess, Cody, thank you for coming on to the show, man. Everybody check out Phantom Sloth Games. I'll have all the information, and it's on itch.io, coming out tomorrow, August 31st, 2021. Cody, great seeing you. Thank you for being on, man.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. You have a good day.
You too. And everybody else at home, be good, take it easy, and much love. Peace.
The lift is stuck. Should have it fixed momentarily. I'll be needing a comms check. Do you copy? No, it seems I can't hear you. Blast this faulty equipment. Must be a short on your end. Best way out now is to get you to the high rise, just past our cave. Don't fret about the airline. You're still in safe hands. What do you mean there's no sound from the bilge pump? Is it the float switch? Is it working? Then what could it be? It's no use. Julian, are you a good swimmer?